We'll begin. Okay. Everybody ready? Good morning, everyone. Today is September 29th. It is now 10:43 a.m. and we are back from recess to continue the JGO investigations into Governor Torres's expenditure of public funds. And today we have Mr. Kevin Aldon, the officer in charge of boating safety program under the Department of Public Safety. But before we bring the witness forward, I'd like to introduce to you the members of this committee who are present today. To my far right, we have Representative Vicente Camacho. To my immediate left, we have, and welcome back to the vice chair of this JGO committee, Representative Blas Jonathan Attal. To his left is Representative Ed Probst, and to Representative Probst's immediate left is Representative Donald Mignonia. Also, we have present with us in front of us. Is that me? Is Mr. Cameron Nicholas, the legislative assistant assigned to the JGO committee. And we have Mr. Joe Tyheron, the legal counsel, House legal counsel. And then we have also our IT manager, Mr. Jonathan Diaz. And we have the sergeant at arms, Mr. Dennis Regis, present today. Now that we have the preliminaries out of the way, I want to remind everyone to please put your phones on silent mode or turn it off, and please practice social distancing throughout the chamber. We will begin. May we ask, please, Mr. Kevin Aldon to proceed to the floor. And Council Anthony Ogden is present with Mr. Kevin Aldon today. Good morning, Council. Welcome back. Good morning, Mr. Aldon. How are you doing today? Good. At any time that you need to speak to the microphone, you need to press the button to talk and really press it again to turn it off. And also, we ask that you please take off your mask when you're going to talk into the microphone. Sometimes it muffles, the mask will muffle what you're saying, so we're not able to hear you clearly. Thank you. At this time, may I ask you to please rise while the House Legal Counsel will administer the oath to you.
Please raise your right hand. Mr. Kevin L. Aldon, do you solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, and welcome again, Mr. Aldon, to your House chamber. We will immediately begin with the questioning, and at this time, I would like to recognize Representative Blas Jonathan Attal.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mr. Aldon, Council Hogan. Welcome to the chamber, to our viewing public and our social media outlets, YouTube and other outlets that are being used, cable TV, and to the viewing public here in the chamber with us. Welcome to your House chamber. We'll start off with some preliminary questions, Mr. Aldon. Please state your name and current position for the record.
Kevin Aldon, Assistant Chief of Police for Boating Safety.
How long have you worked for the Department of Public Safety?
30,
30 years. 30 plus years?
about.
All right. Thank you for your 30 years plus of service. How long have you been the officer in charge of boating safety?
From 2015 to present.
Are you a boat captain for the boating safety program for the Department of Public Safety?
Not really, sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. But you are a certified captain, correct?
The certified, sure, I guess.
Okay. Briefly describe your current duties and responsibilities in your current position as chief.
do enforcement activities for boating safety, um, boating safety assistance to the community, public education for boating safety, and assist with the other needs of the program, and also assisting the commissioner with other duties as assigned.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Officer Don. Is it your duty to ensure that all boat logs, vessel usage reports, and incident reports are completely and properly filled out?
Eventually, yes, it is my duty because I am in charge. I leave it to my other commanders to take care of it.
But at the end of the day, it comes to your desk, correct?
I normally don't review it
Okay.
whenever they make inputs. Sometimes they bring it to me. Sometimes I don't. I don't bother with it.
Okay.
I trust my commanders who be working on those.
That's great. So when they do have questions, they come to you and
Yes.
ask those questions. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for that. So obviously you trust in your subordinates to take care of their duties, and should they have any further questions, they would refer them to you for additional assistance.
Yes. They've been working there before I got in, so they've been doing that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. What does it mean if you do not sign a vessel usage report?
Means I didn't review it.
Means you did not review it?
Yes.
Okay. You personally, right? But there's other signatures on them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there are a few documents that DPS Boating Safety submitted, which will be shared with you as exhibits, where there's no name or signature for reviewing and approving officer. For example, the exhibits will be coming up for you to review on the dates of 3/1/2018 for special assignment regarding Obzen, Agigan Point, and west of prepositioned ships. Is that in front of you right now, Cam? Is he reviewing? Oh, good to see.
This is the one also, right?
Okay, with the document in front of you, do you recognize that document for the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know what this special assignment was? Council will provide you a hard copy so it's easier to follow rather than waiting for.
Sir, you wanted to know what?
Do you know what this special assignment was? Do you recall?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. Do you know if it's the governor's purpose was going out on this vessel?
What say again your question?
Do you know the governor's purpose for going out on this vessel regarding this exhibit right now that we're looking at?
Uh,
Cam, can we make sure there's a number? Exhibit 40? Okay, so we'll refer to Exhibit 40. Okay, it was previously introduced in earlier hearing.
Uh, Vice Chair, no, I'm not sure what it just says special assignment. The purpose, I don't know. Also, that the commander, the time who signed this was at the time it's Sergeant Emery Kaipat. That's way back 2018. So
Sure, sure. We'll just go through a series of questions regarding this
Okay.
exhibit. Just maybe a question might assist you in recalling this specific assignment. Is that okay with you?
okay,
So the next question, was this just a fishing trip?
I'm sorry.
Was this just a fishing trip? This is regarding the same exhibit. I'm just going to go through a series of questions, and maybe possibly one of the questions might trigger a memory for you to regarding this specific trip. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the question was this just a fishing trip?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, fair enough. As a boating safety commander, are you tasked with reviewing and approving all trips using the DPS boating safety vessels?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Did you review and approve this trip?
I don't recall.
Okay.
The commander signed on the bottom was the time Sergeant Kaipat, so I'm not sure if I was present on this day.
Sure.
Or
Sure. No, that's understood. You already mentioned that you have faith in your subordinates to sign off on documents, and should they have any further questions, they would refer them to you. Okay. Last question on that specific exhibit. Was there a reason why you did not sign this report, other than what you had mentioned?
based on the date, I probably was not working, or
It was your day off,
probably. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
so you don't remember.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. What DPS boating safety vessels, if any, fall under your care and supervision? Example: Zodiac, jet boat, jet ski, McKee. All the above.
Yes.
All the above.
Can you list them for us? All the boats that are in your custody or your supervision? The fleet that boating safety has.
We have a 40-foot impact, a 30-foot Hurricane Zodiac 3, 21-foot Hurricane Zodiac 1, 21-foot jet boat, flat bottom jet boat, 2 jet skis, 2 26-foot tornadoes, assigned 1 each to Tinian and Rhoda.
That's it. Dimensions. Thank you for that, Chief.
I have one question. Are there any 17 footers or 13 or 14 footer boats in your under your custody?
No more as of this time, no more.
When was the last time it was under your supervision?
Somewhere early years, 2015, 2016.
Okay. So since then, we only have the current boats that you have mentioned.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what boats those were that are no longer in your fleet?
The McKee craft,
And how many, what's the length of that boat, approximate?
it's about 17.
Okay. The McKee is out. Is there any 13 or 14 footer?
No.
No. Has boating safety ever had any boats that were approximately 13 to 14 feet? Those are pretty small vessels?
Not that I know.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you again, Officer O'Don. Next question. How many boating safety officers fall under your supervision?
Currently, there's 12.
12. Do you have enough staff to meet the missions and objectives of boating safety, or would you say that you are short-staffed? I know this is a budget question, but
It's okay for now.
okay for now. Okay for now.
But ideally, you would like more, perhaps.
If you're talking budget-wise, yes.
Fair enough.
And what number would that be? If you have 12, including yourself, what would be the ideal number to provide the services to the best of you guys' abilities?
I say 16 or
16. So about 4 more staff, 4 more officers under your supervision.
right.
Well, we got the Ways and Means guy here, so he's
Okay.
taking note. Do you and the officers you supervise regularly work overtime because of these staffing shortfalls?
Sorry, say again.
Do you guys regularly work overtime because of the shortage of staff? With the 12, you said the ideal number is 16. So with the 12, are you accumulating overtime because of the 12 staffers?
No,
No?
we're good. We don't.
No overtime. All right. So you don't need the 4 extra.
Well, budget-wise, yes,
Budget-wise,
we
right?
would.
Okay. All right. Are you familiar with the Recreational Boating Safety Grant?
Somewhat, we have a program manager that does take care of that.
And who would that person be?
Vanessa Guerrero.
Vanessa Guerrero? Who's the federal grantor of these funds? Where do you guys receive the funds from? Is it just boating safety in general? Is it, I don't know, public safety in general from the federal government? Is it federal highways?
But I think I should leave that for Ms. Guerrero to answer. No?
Okay, fair enough. And obviously, the objectives of the grant would be better off for Mrs. Guerrero to answer.
Yes.
Okay. Would you please briefly describe the duties and responsibilities of boating safety according to the Recreational Boating Safety Grant, from what you know?
Yes, we provide law enforcement activities for the boating safety program, public assistance, boating safety public assistance, and public education.
Do you know what restrictions are related to these grants? What you can't use them for, other than what you have listed, or you've shared with us so far?
I would leave that for the grant manager to.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, yeah, the allowable grants, obviously, you've enforcement activities, public assistance, and public education, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Are the documents you have provided to this committee true and accurate from the subpoenas to Systicum?
Yes.
Before we get to exhibits, Chief O'Don, who do you receive orders from when Governor Torres or First Lady Diane Torres want to use the boating safety boats for recreational purposes?
The commissioner.
Commissioner. And who does the commissioner receive orders from?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you aware of DPS boating safety officers and vessels being used to take the governor on fishing trips all over the Marianas?
Yes, but we don't take him on our boat for fishing. We escort him. He goes on his own boat.
Shadowing.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall how many trips?
No, sir.
Can we say more than 20 trips?
I can't put a number to it, sir.
Okay.
There's been numerous trips, but I just can't put a number to it.
Sure. No, that's fine. Thank you for that. Have you yourself ever joined in these trips?
Maybe yes. Uh,
Can you remember of one or five, maybe?
uh, One escort to Tinian.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Chief. Are you aware of DPS boating safety officers and vessels being used to take the governor and first lady on trips to Maniagaha?
Yes.
Yes. Do you recall how many trips?
No, sir.
With you yourself being a part of it, how many?
I cannot put a number, sir.
Okay. Chief O'Don, the vessel issued reports and logbooks submitted to this committee document at least 25 boating trips with Governor Torres and his family from March 2017 to July 2021. 85 boating trips with Governor Torres and his family from March 2017 to July 2021, using DPS search and rescue vessels, multiple boating safety personnel, thousands of gallons of government-funded fuel, and other boating resources. You have testified that the boating safety documents submitted to this committee are true and correct. Those 85 boating trips seem accurate to you based on your knowledge and experience?
What was that last question?
Where the 85 boating trips seem accurate based on your knowledge and experience from the subpoena ducisticum that you provided this committee?
If it's in the documents, yes, sir.
Thank you. Could there have been other trips that were not documented among the records you submitted?
Not that I know of, sir.
Okay. But if so, where would those trips be documented?
Just the vessel usage and the logbook.
And you're basing yourself off the documents that have been submitted to you as the chief by your subordinates, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And those are the documents that you had submitted to the committee.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Are you aware that Governor Torres using other government vessels for recreational transportation besides DPS boats? If so, which ones?
I don't know.
You don't know. All right, fair enough. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you again, Chief, for your time, and thank you for answering the questions to your best of your ability. There's more questions coming along your way, and I yield my time for now, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I would like to remind the witness that you are not the focus of this investigation, and we appreciate your candid answers thus far. At this time, I would like to recognize Representative Donald Menglonia.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chief Odon. Good morning, Council Ogun. Thank you for coming in this morning. Cam, can we get the August 5th and 6th boat log? But we'll start with the 5th. And can
We'll give you a hard copy just to make it easier for you.
August 5th would be what exhibit? 65. Chief Odon, according to the boat log on Saturday, August 5th, 2017, at around midnight, units arrive, which is 10:49. Boating Safety Office, BSO, to prep Zodiac 3 for Northern Island shadow ops. Then at 12:30 a.m., 0:30 hours, the governor and crew arrive. That's 10:49 at Smiling Cove Marina. Sometime after that, Zodiac 3 launched and standby to show onboard Zodiac 3 with a few police officers, P61, P55, P23, and the governor. A few hours later, at 3:30 a.m., Zodiac 3 departs. That's 10:06, Smiling Cove Marina, escorting two vessels, Boston Whaler and Mickey. At 10:29 p.m., it is reported that Zodiac 3 by Sariguan, and at 4:34 p.m., the Zodiac arms an hourly check-in, and according to your log, it states nothing more than Sariguan. The first question I have for you is on the logbook. It states that the governor and crew arrive. Do you know who the crew is? Do you know who the crew is referring to?
You're asking, sir, about the 12:30, the 30?
Yes.
No, sir.
Chief Odon, do you know who owns the Boston Whaler that is inscribed in your logbook?
No, sir.
Do you know if it may have belonged to the governor's brother?
It's possible, but it's not listed here. If it is, I can't say for sure.
So would you say that the crew that arrived at 12:30 a.m. was actually the governor's brothers and their companions, if it's possibly their boat?
I don't know, sir, for sure.
Can we go to the Sunday log on August 6th? This is the boat log of Sunday, August 6th, the next day. Particular recording of the day by Boating Safety Office is dedicated to monitor the governor on Zodiac 3 and a McKee vessel. In fact, the very first entry on the day at 12:52, it states Zodiac 3 hourly check-in, 10:18. Sariguan for campout. Then at 6:24 a.m., Zodiac 3 reports 10:18, Anatahan making way back to Saipan. Then at 8:58 a.m., your log states Zodiac 3, 14 miles northwest by Marpy Reef, trolling. Chief Odon, trolling means fishing, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then at 11:14 a.m., Zodiac 3 west of Manyagaha heading towards Saipan. By 12 o'clock p.m., Zodiac 3 arrives at Smiling Cove Marina along with Governor McKee. By 12, Zodiac 3 departs 10:06 to Shell Puerto Rico to refuel 10-3. Do you see all of that in the exhibit?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that's a correct summary of the day of that day based on your logbook?
Based on the logbook, yes.
No. Why would boating safety boats be used to escort the governor on a birthday camping trip to Sariguan?
For personal security detail mission.
And why would boating safety boat be used to escort the boat of Mr. Vincent Torres on a personal birthday camping trip for their brother?
If the governor's on board, then we follow.
If the governor is on board that boat.
Yes.
And who owns the McKee vessel that was being escorted?
I don't know, sir.
Could it have been the McKee that is no longer in your custody or supervision? You mentioned earlier there was a McKee.
Yes, that's no longer with us.
Okay. So this is not the,
It wouldn't have been the same.
No.
okay.
No.
Thank you.
Would you say this was strictly a personal camping trip for Governor Torres and his brothers?
I wouldn't know that, sir.
Thank you for that, Chief. That's all I have on this exhibit. I yield to you, Chair.
Thank you, Rep. Donald. I have a few clarifying questions, Mr. Alon. You earlier testified that part of the mission of boating safety is to provide law enforcement activities, to provide public assistance to distressed vessels or overdue swimmers. Is that correct? And also to provide public education. Is that correct?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. But you also just mentioned that to Representative Donald Maglonia's question of why would boating safety boats be used to escort Governor Torres and or his immediate family members? You mentioned that it would be a PSD mission. Is that correct?
Yes, Chair.
Is providing PSD mission a part of the duties then of boating safety and or the boats being used?
Somewhat, yes.
Someone, yes. Okay, and is that recognized by the boat recreational boating safety grant as part of the mission of these boats that are for boating safety, for public education and public assistance? Is that a part of the RBS grant conditions? Providing security to Governor Torres, Mrs. Diane Torres, or any of his immediate family members?
I'll have I guess, the program manager, the commissioner answer that. I, beyond my level.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, we will move along, and I recognize Representative Ed Provost.
Chief, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you. And of course, as mentioned, your 30 years of exemplary service. We are most grateful. I just wanted to, on the last set of questions, so that were asked earlier by Representative um, Donald Begonia, was there any official business on this trip from what we have seen? Or does this seem strictly personal?
Based on this blog, sir, it's hard for me to say if it was personal or official business. Where we don't ask what's their business? We just get the order to do a PSD
To
service.
provide the security.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I yield.
I recognize Representative Vicente Camacho.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Officer Don and your council. Just got a couple clarifying questions. Officer Don, you said that you have 20 people under you earlier, right?
12 people, sir.
12 people. Dang it, I wanted to give you 20. Um, does the grantor require that all officers operating uh, boarding safety vessels, they're required to be licensed or certified at all?
No, it's not required. Uh, Not even for recreational. Uh,
Okay. All right, so we'll just leave it at the no. Okay, and aren't aren't log sheets, log books, and vessel usage reports and incident reports, are they not those not required either for the grantor as a documentation to report?
Only some information we get out of the logbook
Okay.
for the reports.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, Chair. Are you?
Thank you, Representative Camacho. We will move along. At this time, I would like to recognize Representative Ed Probst. And by the way, just to give you a heads up on our schedule for today, we will go up until about 12 noon, as we usually do, and then take a 2-hour lunch break and come back at 2 p.m. Thank you. Recognize Representative Ed Probst.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this point, I will be asking a few questions. And Cam, if you could pull up our next exhibit, the boat log for August 13, 2017. For August, yeah, August 13, 2017. Do we have that? You gave him a copy. Give him a copy already. Okay, thank you. Chief Odon, I will be asking you some questions pertaining to the entries made on this logbook for Sunday, August 13, 2017. On this day, as shown, the entry starts at 8 a.m. with units arrive, boating safety office, standby for shadow units. And then Zodiac 3 departs Anatahan. The estimated time of arrival is 1,200 hours, 1,200 to 1,230 hours. Um, Chief Odon, who was on the Zodiac 3 in Anatahan?
Congressman, it doesn't say on the boat log who is on the boat.
Can you scroll down? So I'm sorry, the names listed at the top, are they on the names that are there that appear at the top? Does that indicate?
These are the personnel working on that day, but it doesn't state who was on the vessel. They didn't write it down.
Okay, so these names would be referring to they were entered. What would the purpose of their names be appearing there?
On the very top,
Yes, from E, Kaipat, and down
these are the people working on that day.
on that day, but not necessarily on board the Zodiac 3. Is that correct?
Ye-
Is that what you're
Yes,
inferring?
correct.
Okay. Do you know why the Zodiac 3 was on Atahan in the first place?
Nope, I don't know, sir.
So do you know if this was another fishing trip for Governor Morris and his brothers, or if it was a hunting trip?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Another entry at 1:11 p.m. If we could get to that entry at 1:11 p.m. states Zodiac 3 arrived, safety office secured, units on standby for Taurus vessel. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chief Aldon, who is Victorious?
Probably the brother of the governor.
Brother. Okay. Who instructed boarding safety personnel to be on standby to escort Victorious's boat?
That would be the commissioner.
Commissioner. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Crow. Okay. And then if we go to the 2 p.m. entry, Cam, at 2 p.m., the entry on the logbook states, according to Governor, his brother Jack Torres will bring the fuel to Marpy, to the Marpy Reef to refuel the vessel. Do you see that at 2 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whose boat was the fuel for?
I don't know, sir.
Was it for another boating safety boat or was it for a privately owned boat?
Definitely not a boating safety boat.
Definitely not. Okay.
Yeah, we
And why is that?
we won't let a private citizen come and rescue us, sir.
Okay. Thank you. As should be. Thank you. And I have complete respect for that, sir. Thank you. So, did boating safety pay for this fuel?
It doesn't say, sir.
And so you're not aware if they did or not. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And finally, if we could look at the 4 p.m. Entry on the logbook, Cam. If you could go to the 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. Finally, at 4 p.m., according to the entry on the logbook, Victorious and other vessel involved back in Smiling Cove. Chief, it appears that many of the entries in the boating safety logbook are attributed to the governor and his family's fishing or hunting expeditions. Does boating safety also monitor other fishermen as they do for the governor, or is that specifically for the governor?
What could you rephrase that? Or
I apologize. So we have seen all these entries that are attributed to the governor and his family for their fishing and hunting expeditions. My question is, does boating safety also monitor other fishermen as they do for the governor? Or is this specifically for the governor?
no, we do monitor other fishermen out there.
Okay. But you just, of course, don't provide them PSD, right? That's specifically for the governor.
Yes,
PSD.
PSD is for the governor.
Okay. Uh, Madam Chair, I yield at this time. Chief, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Representative Probst. At this time, if there are no objections from the committee members, I'd like to ask a few questions from the dais. Thank you. Okay, Cam, can we put up the boat log of June 15th of this year? And for this exhibit, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen, but I can also provide you a hard copy just to make it easier. So this is a copy of one of the documents that was provided to this committee by your office. It is a boat log for Tuesday, June 15th of 2021, just a mere 3 months ago. And we will begin with the entry made at 7:25 a.m., where it states a police officer. Is that correct? And is this to pick up an inmate or inmates from DOC? Yes. And for what reason would boating safety personnel pick up DOC inmates?
Every day we get trustees
Okay.
out of DOC. They help with the maintenance around the building, minor repairs.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's proceed. The next entry on the logbook was made at 7:56 a.m. and it states Zodiac 3 is doing an hourly check-in, finished last mission at Pagan, and will depart at 1200 hours. Is that correct? Is that an accurate interpretation?
Yes. ma'am.
Okay. What was the purpose of boating safety being on Pagan on June 15th of this year, 3 months ago?
It says here they were shadowing
Okay.
Papa San.
Shadowing Papa Sign.
Yes.
3, RTB stands for returning to base. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Returning to base, shadowing Papa San, which you mentioned. Estimated time of arrival is around 1900 hours or 7 p.m. Chief Aldon, whose boat is the Papa San?
One of the Torres brothers,
One of the Torres brothers.
or the governor's brother.
Okay. Do you know which one?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fair enough. And how often does boating safety escort the boat of the governor's brothers or immediate family?
Well, whenever the governor's on board.
Whenever the governor is on board. Does it state anywhere that the governor, on this log, does it state anywhere that the governor is on board?
No, ma'am.
No, so there is no indication that the governor was on board the Papa Sign. Is that correct? For June 15th of this year, according
Yes.
to the boat log.
Oh.
Okay. And then at 4:20 p.m., Zodiac 3 is doing an hourly check-in and it states Anatahan. It that they are on Anatahan or near Anatahan. Is that correct?
It doesn't say if they're on or.
So they would be around the vicinity, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then at 7:10 p.m., the impact boat departs Smiling Cove Marina with a handful of officers. Is that correct? Do you see that? At 7:10 p.m. I know it's kind of hard. But we can make out that impact departs Smiling Cove Marina.
Yes.
Okay. Why would the impact boat be launched to meet up with Zodiac 3 and Papasan? Would you know?
No, it doesn't state.
It doesn't state. Okay, fair enough. And then the entry at, can we go to the next page, Cam? The entry at 7:40 p.m. states impact arrives with Papasan. Impact arrives with Papasan. Is that correct? 7:40. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the previous page, Cam. Yeah, second page. I'm sorry. Right there, the very first entry. It says impact arrives with Papasan. The very top, the very first entry. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then next entry is at 8:16 p.m. Zodiac 3 refuels 149.92 gallons of fuel. And then 2 minutes later at 8:18 p.m., impact completed last mission, gas or fuel up with Papasan on return to base. Is that a correct interpretation?
Yes, ma'am.
Then after fueling up the Papasan, the impact boat reports back to the Smiling Cove Marina. Is that correct?
Okay.
Um, Chief Aldon, how often does boating safety fuel up privately owned boats by Governor Torres's family? According to the 8:18 entry, the impact boat completed its last mission to fuel up the Papasan. You earlier testified that that would be an accurate interpretation.
Okay.
How often does boating safety fuel up privately owned vessels?
For Papa San,
Yes,
I guess just this one.
just that one. Okay, then the last entry at 9:33, police officer departs DOC because he dropped the inmates back. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
So at about 9:33, 21:33 hours, one police officer departs DOC, dropped inmates. That means this police officer, after having dropped inmates at DOC, departs DOC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are inmates sometimes transported to the Northern Islands to assist the governor in any way or his brothers in any of their fishing or hunting expeditions?
No, ma'am.
No. Who approved the release of the inmate? Whoever this was on this day, on June 15th of this year, who approved the inmates to to be picked up by boating safety personnel?
Who approves the inmates?
Who approves the release of the inmates? Whenever boating safety needs them, or
The booking area.
who approves it?
We just go to the side report. The booking officer comes out and we sign him out.
So you don't need the Commissioner of Department of Corrections approval on any of these?
The approval process, I don't know how that's done.
Okay.
Uh,
So it's a
gotta be-
standard practice. You just go to the booking area and
Right.
sign out an inmate.
Right.
And do you sign out like one particular inmate or every day? It's the same inmate?
It's the same person.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have for this.
Madam Chair, may I ask about the 2018 impact entry with Papsan? What was your question there?
2018. I asked you the translation of that because you're, officers talk in codes, right? So my interpretation is, and I asked you earlier, is a correct interpretation. At 2018 p.m., or that's approximately 8:18 p.m., correct? Impact finishes the last mission. Is that correct?
Yes.
10:3 gas or fuel up. Correct?
Yes.
With Papa San on return to base. Is that a correct interpretation?
Just reading it out. Okay. I was just wondering if there was a question to it or if
I did ask after that, how often does boating safety, because it says the impact finish the last mission gassing up with Papa San. Is that correct? Is that a correct interpretation?
I think, ma'am, that we should ask the person whoever wrote this if that would be what you're trying to say is that we gassed up Papa San.
Well, can we hear your interpretation of those codes in plain English?
It could be what you're saying. It could be something another way, or
Like what way? What other way?
they met up with him and I don't know. They gassed himself, or
I'm sorry, can you elaborate? They Impact met up with Papa San, the boat Papa San?
right.
And what is the other interpretation? Possibly.
It could be anything. Did they gas Papa San? I don't know. Yeah. You're saying I'm going to interpret this.
Yeah.
It could be what you're saying. I don't know that for sure.
So who wrote this entry? Do you know? Do you recognize the handwriting?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your interpretation again? Because all it says is impact, finish last mission, fuel up with Papa San on return to base. I don't think there's any other interpretation for that other than impact, finish last mission, fuel up with Papa San on return to base.
Right.
Yes.
Did we feel Papa San? We don't know, or I don't know.
I didn't ask that question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's all the questions I have. Does anybody have any clarifying questions? Recognize Representative Ed Probst.
Not a clarified question, but I do think, Madam Chair, for this investigation, that it would be prudent to find out whether or not the Papa San was in fact fueled. That's something, when we read this, we should have some resolution to that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I recognize Representative Vicente Camacho.
Thank you again, Chair. I just got one question. Of the 12 staff that you have working under you, how many are females?
Three.
3 females. Thank you for that. I yield, Chair. Thank you.
I'm sorry. That's two, correction, Congressman.
2. Thank you.
I have one. This is still troubling me. I'm sorry. This June 15, 2021 vote. Log. Cam, can we go to the top, please? The first page, I'm sorry. Kevin, Chief Aldon, I'm sorry. On June 15th, you stated that the names here on top are people who were on duty that day. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were on duty, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't know. Can we go back to that entry at 8:18 p.m., please, Cam? So again, the interpretation of the entry made at 8:18 p.m. says impact, finish last mission, gas up or fuel up, right? That means to gas with Papa San on return to base. Is that a correct interpretation? You were there that day, so
Is it is what you're saying correct about?
yes,
Yes.
the interpretation of what that.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. I have no other questions at this time. It's getting close to 12 noon. Okay, recognize Representative Ed Probst.
So I just wanted some more clarification with regard to um, the inmates with regard to that. So the inmates were not transferred or transported to assist the governor or his brothers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. And but so these inmates were being transferred for what purpose, or what was the purpose of the inmates being on the boat or
On,
being transported?
on the boat?
Uh, I'm sorry. There was the mention of the inmates. What is the purpose of the inmates?
Okay. We get the inmates every day. They're trustees assigned to boating safety,
Okay.
and they're there to help maintain the environment of the building in and out.
Okay. And just and again this and I'm sorry, I'm going to get back real quick to the Papa San and with the 1016 they finished the last assignment. So based on this, Papa San was gassed somewhere, um, because on the bottom it says that back was entering the channel. So they were not gassed onshore. They were gassed somewhere offshore. Is that correct? When they were gassed? When they were fueled?
Could you repeat, Congressman, your question?
Um, the impact and the Papa San was fueled before entering the channel. Is that correct?
The, say that again. I'm sorry.
Was the impact and Papa San fueled before entering the channel, before returning to the Smiling Cove Marina?
Yes.
So they were fueled not at the station or something. They were fueled somewhere offshore. Is that Is that where were they fueled at?
It doesn't say here, sir.
Do you bring extra fuel on board the Impact?
Yes,
Is it possible both boats were fueled in that case?
I don't know. It doesn't state.
And the inmates being dropped off as late as 9:33 p.m., these are trustees, and that's normal procedure, normal protocol?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Probst. Like I mentioned earlier, it's now 11:49. It's getting close to the 12 o'clock hour. We won't get into, obviously, we won't have time to go through the whole set of another exhibit. So at this time, we will take a break for lunch, and then we will come back at 2 p.m. Thank you. And we are now in recess.